Other than the industrial hemp, which you've talked about at length, can you think of some federal regulations or federal laws that you would like to see nullified or like to see Kentucky freed of?
Well, I think the first place the states need to look is we need to look at duplicate regulation. And I think the states are going to have to help the federal government understand where they can cut costs, because I think they're proving right now that they're not capable of finding spending reductions. And take it, for instance, the FDA. You have the food aspect of the FDA that regulates farming. Okay, we have that at the federal level, and we have a state level Department of Agriculture. And basically, you have duplicate levels of regulation. I'd like the federal aspect of that to go away and allow us to regulate farming at the state level through our own Department of Agriculture, and allow us to make local decisions on how we want and what we want to grow. And I think that could be, that same approach could be pushed to every one of the three-letter acronyms that are federal government agencies. And if we have a state-level agency that's already there, then we need to be able to handle it at the state or local level, as opposed to dealing with it, having the federal on top of us. Because essentially what we have are industries, and it affects profitability. And when you affect profitability, it affects your ability to hire more people. The more regulation a company has to adhere to and stay on top of, and research and report and do all the things that are required, every one of those dollars are taken away from being a productive company. And if we can be more productive, we can hire more people. And that's part of what we need to do through nullification, is to get as many of those regulations out of the way.
Of course, the argument for national regulation of food safety on farms is that some of our food leaves Kentucky and goes to other states.
Right.
And so somebody in Ohio or Illinois or somewhere might want to know what the standards are for the food being grown that they're eating.
And they would know that. I mean, it's not like we're keeping it a secret, right? I mean, if we say what our regulations are and we adhere to our regulations, they'll know what those regulations are. Farmers aren't going to produce things in a fashion to where they can't resell their product. To think that they would even consider doing that is kind of absurd, because they know they would be out of business.
Okay. Can you think of any other examples of federal regulations or laws that Kentucky
we have a state-level mine safety, and we have an entire branch of our state government that handles the coal industry. And we don't need the EPA on top of our own coal regulators. We're perfectly capable of making sure that we mine coal in a safe way, not only for the coal miners, but safe for the environment as well. And what we find is that at the federal level we have politicization of the regulatory agencies. There is no doubt, because President Barack Obama has said it, that he wants to make the coal industry go away. He made a comment, something to the tune of, "Well, go ahead and start a new coal-fired plant. We'll make sure that we regulate you to where you can't be profitable." And I could find that quote for you, but it was a direct quote. And what we're doing right now, if you think about it, there are EPA regulations out there that are keeping mining permits only in Appalachia. No other coal fields in the nation, just Appalachia. Their feds are keeping their mining permits from being renewed. And when their current permits expire, there won't be any more Appalachian coal. And Appalachian coal is the highest BTU coal in the nation. Now, why would the federal government want the highest BTU coal off the market? The reason is they want to force feed us things like solar power and wind power by making other types of power too expensive. And that's not the role of federal government, and it's not the role of them that kill entire industries and entire regions just because they politically would rather us have windmills than coal-powered electric.